remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know, because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches, and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions, because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia, they come from Europe, they come from England, they come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pocket. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den and starve them. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else they are. It makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible, and it's traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhei Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the son has to come in his father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. If your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind ashore. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh for coming to us and teaching us who is Yahweh as no one else ever could do. Praise Yahweh. Also, I want to thank the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh for teaching us our true history, which used to be the world's best kept secret. Praise Yahweh. And now a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years, he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he is given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh ben Yahweh is giving the world the keys to success in life politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, "Who is it?" I don't mind telling you, Yahweh ben Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm. It's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. We're not going to trust in no weapons made by hand. We trust in Yahweh. Sword is more than enough. You don't need to worry about what the devil has. Verse 6. Check this out. Check out verse 6. Read.
For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me.
You got it? No, see, the worst thing we could ever do is start thinking that we can trust in our bow and our sword. Bow is not God. A sword is not God. What are we going to do, worship swords? The devil will shoot us right down if we go around here worshiping swords. Say, oh, they don't believe in Yahweh. They're scared of you with a stick in your hand. And we don't mind laying the stick down because we're not trusted in no stick. You won't be able to do no more to us with or without the stick, period. You can't do no more to us without the stick than you can do to us with the stick. But we're not trusted in no stick. Stick or break. Now let's look at verse 7 and see who it is that saves us from our enemies. Read.
But thou hast saved us from our enemies.
Who? Who? Uh-huh.
And hast put them to shame that hated us.
Who will put them to shame? Yahweh. Who will put them to shame? Yahweh. That's what he's doing. Come on, look, all false leaders that hate me are being put to shame. Shame, they're all being put to shame. Verse 8, read.
In Yahweh we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever. Selah.
Yeah, Selah. Praise Yahweh. All right, the Bible's Interpreter's Dictionary says a lot about the hornet. Gives you a lot of information about it. It says the biblical passages which contain hornets, Exodus 23:28, Deuteronomy 7:20, Joshua 24:12, all refer to a divine intervention on Israel's behalf in driving out the inhabitants of Canaan. So we're not going to go out and try to breed some Hornets, right? Okay? Now, hornet, in this sense, in the Bible's Interpreter's Dictionary, say that it's as being a possible translation, accepting rather depression or discouragement. We already know they're being discouraged because wherever the devil has an army now, he has to back out, just like in Lebanon. You notice he's being forced out and to back down. You notice every war is fighting. He's being forced to lose. Though most powerful on earth, he's still being discouraged from using his atomic weapons and power. You notice? See, somebody is working on this devil, boy. Praise God. Wake up, children, and understand this. You got to be wide awake for this class. This is a heavy class today. We are learning something here. That hornet is an insect, but we also know that these things stand symbolically for other things. Praise Yahweh. See, it stands for other things. And Hebrew words carry many shades of meaning. So we're not going to get tripped out if we don't see a bunch of insects. Because I know the Great Depression is coming, which I've been warning you about all the time. Now today we discover that the hornet stands for the same thing. And here in the Bible's Interpreter's Dictionary it says that. Then it says, but the fierce nature of this insect, fierce nature of this depression coming on, as well as its habit of paralyzing its prey before sucking out its vital fluids. Sucking out the vital power of the USA, huh? A depression that's going to paralyze America. And all of her power, her life will be sucked out. Will be sucked out. America is going to be paralyzed. This depression that's coming is going to paralyze the people that we are under. The people that we are afraid of are going to have a depression. Their economy, their livelihood is going to be totally paralyzed. And the reason why it won't sting us is because we're already depressed in a depression. We don't run the country. It is not our country. It is not our lifestyle being threatened. We don't have a lifestyle in America because we don't rule the country. But boy, when you take the rulers and suck their vital fluids of economic livelihood from them, he's dead. And those that have a little money left are going to hide from us. They're already taking their money out the country and putting it offshore. These are the ones that have strategies for putting their money beyond the reach of the U.S. government. They've already put their money offshore. Gold and silver and foreign currency in Switzerland. That's what this means. These are the ones, when we read the scripture, and them that are left shall hide from thee. And it said, then they're going to be destroyed. That means it's going to paralyze America first. When it paralyzes her, then it's going to affect the world. Even those that are left, the whole world is going to be paralyzed. Because they trust in the dollar too. So all those that were left that had their money offshore, etc., and have dollars outside the country, that dollar's going to die too. That's when funny money will come in. But where Yahweh's children are, he destroyed. He said, I'm going to send hornets among them. Now we know the meaning. Ooh, isn't it wonderful to understand the mystery of the word? Remember I told you the Bible is written in 8 different ways? Check this dictionary out and remember I taught you this years ago. The Bible's interpretive dictionary say that hornets, as used in this scripture, should be interpreted as a metaphor. As a metaphor. Look up metaphor, son. M-E-T-A-P-H-O-R. Remember I told you the Bible's written figuratively, literally, prose and poetry, similes, the metaphor, prophetically, symbolically. The devil say this is written in metaphor. See, I already taught you the word. It's not my fault if you haven't studied the word and understand hornet when you come to it on your own. I already taught you to understand what a hornet is because I taught you it's written in metaphor. All right, son, metaphor. Read.
Metaphor, a figure of speech in which a term is transferred from the object it ordinarily designates to an object it may designate only by implicit comparison or analogy, as in the phrase evening of life. Figuratively, language, parable.
All right. It takes one thing is used that you can see and understand the characteristics of, to understand another thing that you may not understand so much about, but when you apply the characteristics of this thing that you do understand, and apply that knowledge to the thing that you don't understand, you'll understand the thing you didn't know about by applying something that has similar characteristics in nature that you can't understand. So when you study the nature of the hornet, then you can understand what's going to happen to this devil. So y'all will use that as metaphor. Now I'll go back in an earlier description of this, because I'm saving one for the last. Hornet means depression, discouragement, to be abased. Look up the word abase, A-B-A-S-E. Read.
Abase, to lower in rank.
Our enemy, America, will be brought low. Yahweh is going to bring our enemy low, down. Come and sit in the dust, America. Come and sit in the dirt, America. You shall no more be called tender. See? Come down and sit in the dust, America, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne for you now. That's what, see, the hornet is being brought in now. She's being brought down. The dummies will be looking for a bee or a big wasp. And while they got there, see, the devil is prepared for that. He got all his insecticides and pesticides and tons of poison. He's looking for the bugs to come after him. See? So he has gotten all his scientists together, getting all these poisons together to kill the bugs he's been looking for them to come. His religious scientists told him the bugs are coming. So he's got all these tons of exercise and all these planes and things ready to fight the bugs. But he should have been trying to figure out how he was going to keep from being brought down in the dust. He should have been trying to figure out how he was going to keep from being set down on the ground. How to maintain his throne. Oh, but Yahweh said, I'm going to send the hornets while you got your eye on that. I'm going to bring this great depression in on you. I'm going to discourage you. I'm going to bring you low. You won't be ranked as number one no more. You were number one, but I'm going to lower your rank. Read it again, son. Check out Yahweh teaching us today. Those that love the word are excited. Come on.
To lower in rank, prestige, or esteem.
The America's prestige has been tarnished on every hand. So we can rest assured the hornets are already among America. And their prestige is being damaged, not ours. We're already down. Come on, son.
Humble.
They're going to be humbled. Here devils writing asking, can they be our slaves? That's about as humble as you can get. Will you train us how to be a slave to you? I call that pretty humble.
Praise Yahweh. Wow. We see today all the effects of these hornets that is depressing America. You got a hornet that is symbolically stinging the American government to where it has just become low and debased, and it's like there's nothing that this government can do that can uplift it out of this depression, this pit. Well, I tell you what, seeing is believing. Watching the prophecy unfold is where we at right now, family. We seeing all of the words of the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh come to pass in our lifetime. America has sealed its fate. When they put our father in the tomb, they sealed their fate. Just like Pharaoh in Egypt. When he spoke what he spoke, that's what happened to him. So we see the death of America in real time. But rest assured, Israel, Judah shall be saved. So let's get to be saved. Let's get to be saving ourselves by studying, doing Yahweh's will. We have a lot to talk about when we get to Power Talk. But before we do, word from our sponsors.
We've tried politics, we've tried money, we've tried power. But what if the real solution has been with us all along? In ethics, How to Achieve Heaven on Earth, Dr. Lud Yisrael reveals a bold truth. Ethics is not just philosophy. It's the key to ending war, poverty, crime, and corporate greed. When we choose ethics, we choose peace. When we live ethically, we build heaven, right here on earth. Ethics, How to Achieve Heaven on Earth. The solution to every problem begins within us. Available now at shopyesstore.com.
Are you ready for a divine experience? YahwehRadio.com brings you uplifting music that feeds your soul. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But that's not all. Now you can watch the powerful teachings of the King of Yisrael, the most honorable, Yahweh ben Yahweh. Dive into his divine mind, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all at your fingertips. Feel the music. Watch the message. Experience the power. Visit YahwehRadio.com today and let your spirit rise. Listen, watch, believe. Subscribe today. YahwehRadio.com.
And Yahweh said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And Yahweh
Rescuing our future since 2004. From beginner to advanced. From melodies to mastery. From practice to performance. Neo Jazz School of Music, creating space for young people to express and to grow. Now with 2 locations, New Orleans and Miami. Enroll today at neojazz.org.
At NOY Store, we bring culture, style, and wellness all in one place. Explore our collection of cultural apparel designed to inspire and connect. From t-shirts to polos, boldly tell your story. Need guidance on your journey? Check out our books written to inspire and support your spiritual, personal, and community growth. And give your body the care it deserves with our health and wellness products like natural toothpaste, soothing body butters, and more. We're always adding new products to empower your life so you can live with purpose and style. Visit NOYstore.com today, where culture, wellness, and inspiration come together. Shop at NOYstore.com. In a world where division often takes center stage, one organization is leading the way to a brighter, unified future. At Builders of the Highway Foundation, we believe in the power of unity. Our mission is to provide educational, economic, cultural, social, spiritual, and organizing resources for community advocacy to support the unification of good people. We're not just building programs, we're building bridges, connecting individuals and organizations to foster love, trust, and understanding. Our vision is simple. A world filled with communities transformed by morality, love, unity, and trust. Join us on our journey to create a more compassionate, inclusive world. Together we can build a highway of hope, connection, and lasting change. Because when we stand together, we build a brighter tomorrow.
This program is dedicated to the spiritual resurrection of the righteous people of the planet Earth and to the establishment of the kingdom of true holiness and righteousness, the kingdom of God Yahweh.
You see, people take life to a different dimension, you understand me? But a Yahweh me seek and a Yahweh me serve, because Him are the God of Israel, which are the true living God. You understand me? He's 360 degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
That's right, family. That's time for power talk. And there was some powerful talk going on in the studio after this powerful storm just passed over us, ironically, in the Passover season. But Yahweh made his presence known. It was a big sound and a pop and knocked everything out. But praise Yahweh, he allowed us to get back on the broadcast level, and we are here now. Power Talk, the message is a continuation about those hornets, those that divine judgment that Yahweh is sending on the wicked, namely those ones who held captive the children of Yahweh. Now, they can call it America, the country. They can call it America, the corporation. They can call it the States of America.
Mm-hmm. Any of those constructs.
They can call it the judicial system and the legal fiction and all of they fiat currency and we can go on and on about the fraud of America. Who is America to tell somebody that they're illegal in a territory? You telling people you illegal here when everything about here is illegal, is against the laws of Yahweh. So Yahweh is the judge. Yahweh is the jury, and Yahweh is the executioner. And Yahweh sends divine judgment. So you don't have to fear us. We're not fighting against you. You got to fear our daddy. My daddy's so bad. All your war weapons, your nuclear weapons, and anything you can perceive cannot even, you can't even scratch the surface of our Father's defense. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
And he's defending us. We be obedient and stay in his grace, in his will, and keep his laws, judgments, commandments, statutes. Then we have the safety. We ran into that strong tower, Yahweh. Mm-hmm. We're safe. But oh, the wicked. Well, you choose you this day whether you want to walk that path, righteousness or not.
Yes, sir. Well, I thank the most honorable Yahweh being Yahweh for this divine message, because this is a continuation of our understanding that we don't need to be afraid of them. They have their judgment. They have they have what is due unto them. So our work, our reality is one, understanding this, knowing that this judgment is being executed right before our eyes today. Recognize the moment that we're in and know the work that Yahweh calls us to do for ourselves, for those who are the children of Yahweh who have yet to come into the light of his knowledge. We have to understand our work and our responsibility in this moment. So I thank Yahweh ben Yahweh for bringing us back to this clarity. We clear now.
Yeah. Oh, we clear.
We real clear. We crystal clear. We see the moment.
Well, we see that what Yahweh ben Yahweh said in this message today was the prophecy of today, this time. We understood that there was things going on in that time, but now we see the fulfillment of all those things that Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us, that he spent all those hours, 100,000 hours teaching us, would come to pass. And there's no doubt that what he said, he said it, there it is. We just listened to him saying about the depression, and he taught us how to study to get at the understanding of the allegory of the hornet. Now, he spoke in a past message about that don't mean the physical hornet ain't gonna strike too. It just goes deeper than that. Just here recently with what's going on over in the quote unquote Middle East and the land called Israel, they had a swarm of bees attacking people, just showed up, shutting down airports and shutting down jets. Bees. This is real. Look it up. Bees over in Israel. And you'll see the swarms of bees that just showed up. And they're like, oh, they trying to say it's something biblical, but these things happen. Yeah, just like they happened in Egypt 4,000 years ago with Pharaoh. These things do happen. Just like America in the Depression, it affects us just like the so-called Great Depression affected us back then. When the banks went belly up in the 20s for the Great Depression, they didn't let us use the banks. We didn't have no money in those banks. We was the same before, during, and after.
Well, and I just want to just make the comparison. There is definitely an obvious economic difference today because of we talk about the depression. There are certain conditions that they say make what they call a depression based off the Great Depression, and we see ourselves on a pathway towards what we saw in that era. But our reality is, for many people in this country, they have never experienced that occasion of economic prosperity. They have not been in the position.
They've never had $100,000 in the bank.
They have not had that position
at one time
of economic prosperity. So what's interesting about today's message is Yahweh Ben Yahweh said that that the thing that would happen would be a depression, where it means someone will be lower in rank.
Lowered in rank, right. Brought down in rank, bust down.
Where by comparison, we see ourselves, the so-called Black people of America, and quote unquote, the other national narrative, the working class people of America, we've never been high ranked in economic prosperity. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh started this message saying that when we take the economic livelihood of those who oppress us away from them, then there will be a great destruction. They will be destroyed. So this depression is deeply connected to, deeply tied to how and what we do with the management of our resources.
So let's talk about that for real now, because the message and the spirituality is real. The destruction of America and the destruction of the wicked is real. All of that stuff is real. But our concern right now is to return to a cooperative existence where we cooperate directly with each other. We don't sit back and indulge into their system. This is how you survive. If they instituted the market of the beast tomorrow and you couldn't buy or sell, you'd be looking for those people who didn't take the mark so that y'all can barter and share resources and help each other to survive, because we're not taking the mark of the beast. That's just not happening. So when everybody else does, just like a few years ago, everybody else just jumped on what they said you have to do. And there were those of us who said, nope, not doing it.
We're not doing that.
And we simply just decided not to indulge in anything. Well, you got to do this. You got to, well, I'm not coming. You got to wear this. I abstain. I don't need to go. I don't need to be there enough for you to tell me and dictate to me what I have to do. It's the same process, but then I do need to get with those others like-minded and begin to share resources and barter resources and produce and come together in collectives that can protect us by just being able to feed ourselves and house ourselves. And it's so simple. We've done it for thousands of years. And right now, the mindset of the people is so dumbed down to it's like if the money fail and the systems fail, we gonna just instantly die because we won't know what to do. That's the panic in the street. That's the running around screaming and like, that's the robbing your neighbor who got 2 cans. You got 5 cans of beans. He got 2 cans. You robbing him for his cans of beans. And he at the other neighbor's house trying to rob them for their 1 can of beans. And that's the kind of anarchy and chaos that most people have in their minds because of Hollywood and all of this bull that they put on TV to show you that if this happens, it's going to be anarchy and all of this stuff. Yeah, well, that's training you to do that. But there's those of us who know how to cooperate. Go ahead, sister.
Well, as you shared, those systems are designed to train people to behave in this way. When our reality, we have been blessed. We have been divinely graced by the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh, giving us the spirit of cooperation. He's given us the spirit of collective energy towards.
He demonstrated it to us in a microcosmic nation.
He sure did. And so when we think about this Great Depression and like what we've been emotionally conditioned to remember about that, we remember, for those of us who weren't present during that time, they give us images of folks not being able to feed themselves, people who looked like they hadn't eaten in I don't know how long, whatever the
days, months, I don't know.
Whatever, but our reality is Yahweh Ben Yahweh has given us a moral behavior in which we can navigate through those conditions through our behavior. It does not matter about all the things that we don't agree on. Right. We have to find those resources, those structures, those value systems that we do align on and build communities and build networks.
Well, I just thought about it, like, if you agree with Yahweh, you all right with me.
Praise Yahweh. That's a great starting
point. If you agree with Yahweh, we all on different levels of study and understanding and indeed comprehension and overstanding. We on different levels. And when we share with each other and fellowship with each other and study with each other, we all be moved to that same level, because when we move into the next phase of existence, it's not like somebody's going to go first and then some people going to come later when they come. It's we all together. We have to be at the same level to move forward. So that means that we have to collect ourselves and move ourselves to that level so that we can move forward as a collective. That's how you rule. The rulership ain't in individuals, putting on certain garments and I'm the king, and the rulership is a group of people, a nation of people who demonstrate all of Yahweh's will in action, and that the world sees and says, teach us how to be like y'all. Teach us how to serve Yahweh in the correct way. Teach us how to get rain in our land and the blessings of the God of the heavens and the earth. Because they see the level of rulership, the level of commitment, the level of understanding and perfection that we have achieved through our studying of the word of Yahweh, the divine word of Yahweh. They see it in action, not in words, but in deeds.
Praise Yahweh, family. Open power talk with this question. What will you do, family, to demonstrate the glory of Yahweh in this moment that we see headed towards this depression? We are going to get our board open here in just a moment, but
yeah, that's a good question, though. What am I doing?
What will you do
in this moment
to demonstrate the glory of Yahweh? The lines are open, family. If you want to join us in this conversation, all you have to do is unmute yourselves. Let us know who's calling and where you're calling in. And we'll get you on the line.
That's right. You do have a caller.
Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh, who is Yahweh in the flesh as the Son. What can I do? Well, I want to thank Yahweh for giving us each other, because when we do what we can do as an individual person, well, that's the best thing to do, because when we work on self, then we're working on the collective whole, because when we come together, it's just a beautiful thing. And just like peace destroys war, then so does the building of the kingdom of Yahweh simultaneously destroys the kingdom of Satan. And Yahweh ben Yahweh talked about focusing on not trusting in the weapons of man, but trusting in him. And I want to share a scripture, 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4, and it reads, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the God Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds." So Yahweh already has a place prepared for us. So let's exercise Psalms chapter 37 and not worry. Oh, we're not doing enough. Oh, we're divided. Oh, we're moving too slow. No, we keep working. Do what you can do. Do what Yahweh has blessed you to do. And most of all, let's come together and support each other. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh. Thank you for allowing me to share today, family. Love you much.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for giving you wisdom to share, and you sharing it with us today.
Absolutely. I thank Yahweh for that wisdom. We have to stay on. What can we do? And I really appreciate Sister Zabia Bira giving us this understanding of connecting to Yahweh's mind and knowing that there's a time that we're in, but the moment we have to focus on is what we can do in ourselves. We can't force anybody to do anything beyond what we're willing to do ourselves. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. And it's not even about the forcing or even the requesting of anybody. Yahweh came in the flesh and taught us what we have to do. We are the only ones that can choose to do it in ourselves. We do have another caller.
Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Would that be me?
That would be you. Yes,
brother.
sir.
All right. Hey, this is Brother Jeremiah out of Orlando. And I'm out walking, so you're going to hear me breathing a little bit. But I do like the conversation that we are having. And when you think about what we can do, I think about the body. We are the body of Yahweh and Yahweh. And we do have individual roles that we have to play. Like the left hand on always do what the right hand does. But it still works in harmony with the body. So that's very important. It's one thing that Yahweh said. He may not have said it on this message. I didn't get to hear the message, but it's something that he said that always resonated with me. And he talked about the Adamites versus the Evites. It's not about man versus woman. This is nation of people. And he said the Adamite nation, they can hear the law and they act on it. That's how you can tell the difference there by action. But it said the Evite nation, they're eloquent in the law, they're eloquent in their speech. They can say things that would just wow you, but they're not going to do anything. Their actions is going to show who they are. So when it comes to what we can do, we do have an individual commitment to the most honorable Yahweh or Yahweh. But we have to bring that together as a collective to make that body whole. But that requires us to recondition our mindset to understand the importance of that. Because you guys talked about cooperative economics, and that's what it's about. In this day and time, we have to understand the importance of that, because as this world comes, or I would say as this system crumbles down, we need to raise Yahweh's system up. And that's how y'all been Yahweh say that we destroy the devil by building his kingdom up. It's not so much about his kingdom being dissipated, but us building our kingdom above his kingdom is how we're going to establish or usher in the kingdom of heaven. Praise Yahweh. Total for allowing me to share.
Praise Yahweh. We thank Yahweh. Go ahead.
We thank Yahweh for giving you the wisdom and understanding to share.
Praise Yahweh. We do have another caller.
With the line unmuted, you are now live on Power Talk.
Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. Shalom, shalom, family. Wow. Yes, my dear brother truly expressed something that is vital for us to understand. This is Sister Yochebed, and family, our nation, our kingdom that Yahweh is going to develop for us, that is teaching us to develop for ourselves with his blessing. Because trust me, nothing will be developed, nothing will be grown, nothing will be made manifest without Yahweh's blessing. Is a magnificent kingdom. And the way we know that is by the amount of inventions right now that our people are creating in Africa and here in the US. Our people have always been the inventors. We all know that. Anyone that has studied us and studied our history, we are the inventors. But now I've just discovered that, we have our African brothers that are coming up with things like that, that's going to machinery that's going to remove all the plastics out of the water, out of the oceans. We have another young man, I'm sure many of us have heard, that it has created a device that will take those plastics and create fuel to run a vehicle. And there's many, many more that are showing up. Things that where you do not need the electrical to power from someone else. You will have a device that will power your home. So see, our future is not going to be based on greed and abuse of the people. It's going to be a grand, luxurious kingdom. But see, our duty today is to endure to the end, because this is judgment day of the ones that were given 6,000 years to rule. So by enduring to the end, I want to share with you Victory Gardens. If you've never heard of Victory Gardens, look them up. Victory Gardens are also known as war gardens, where vegetable, fruit, and herbs plots planted at private residences and public parks in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Germany during World War I and World War II. Governments encourage these gardens to supplement ration food supplies, reduce pressure on commercial agricultural systems, and boost civilian morale on the home front. Now understand, this was a time where it was a very difficult time. It was a struggle. Okay, they had to make sure they fed the troops that were out to war and themselves. So these were at private residences, and they exchanged, hey, Mr. Man, you grow the tomatoes, I'll grow the peppers. So understand, what we do for ourselves, what we can do for ourselves is very, very instrumental in being able to continue and endure to the end and make sure we are not a part of the destruction that's taking place right now. You do not want to be a part of those that are fighting for toilet paper in the grocery store when things get crazy. Okay? We have to cooperate, as our dear Sister Tamar has taught us, has been drilling. Cooperate, work with each other, but bring your bowl of soup by having your victory garden. That is so powerful for us to understand. Have your part, whatever it is that you know how to do to build our kingdom, you know what it is. It may not be a garden, it may just be your special services. So family, we already have the victory by learning our history, and by seeing what Yahweh is doing for our future, our home, our government is not going to be like what you see here. No, we're building the kingdom of heaven on earth. Praise Yahweh, family. Thank you for letting me share. Love you all.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for giving our family wisdom. And that shows that we are studying, we are watching and seeing what this devil plans are, that he'll never achieve his goals. But we have to know how to not fall into the traps that he set particular for us. That is the fuel of this whole society. We are. The money that he extracts from us, the money he extracts from our neighborhoods, the money that he extracts from our existence is all about him being in rulership over us by taking everything that we could take and pool together and become independent of him and sovereign of him. He makes sure he takes it and extracts it all, so we won't be able to do anything. But all we have to do is stop giving it to him. Because we give it to him because he say so.
Yes, sir. We do have, praise Yahweh, we do have a caller with their hand raised.
Caller with your hand raised. Welcome to Power Talk.
Boker Tov.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Peggy, calling out of Miami. When I was listening just here to Yahweh's class, it just automatically I thought about Deuteronomy chapter 28. Because while Yahweh is going to be destroying our enemies and not just America, and he's taught us how to rightly divide the word of truth and to study to show thyself approved. Hearing that while Yahweh is destroying our enemies, the nation of Yahweh is going to be coming up simultaneously. We are going to we're going to appear as though we do have like a hedge around us or a ray of light of sun just protecting us, because there's no I want to say it's real. Yahweh's word is real. So it's not how it sounds like. There's no way we can be living a blissful and a peaceful and heaven on earth while the rest of the world is crumbling down and being stricken with war and bombs, and we absolutely will be. And if you haven't read Deuteronomy chapter 28, in part it says all the blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy God. It's like 68 verses, but when you have a chance, for those that haven't read it, it lists in every possible way that you can be blessed by keeping Yahweh's laws. You will be blessed. From when you come in your house to when you go out, to just random acts of kindness and blessings will come upon thee. And just hearing this, while our enemies will be destroyed, we have to keep in mind that the nation of Yahweh is going to be built up. It's going to be a beacon. It's going to be a haven. And that's how we're going to overtake the world in righteousness, because we're going to be living proof that while everything is falling down, we'll be rising up, defying the very laws of gravity. So it's beautiful to hear what's coming for the world and our enemies, because we know what that means for us. So praise Yahweh, and Toda for letting me share.
Praise Yahweh. We thank Yahweh for giving you the wisdom to share. And yes, absolutely, we have to be on that path of understanding that we know the destiny of the enemy. Yahweh has given us.
And we also know our destiny.
We know our destiny.
Our inheritance. Now we know we've reconnected to our Father. We know what we inherit.
We have to go through Deuteronomy chapter 28 with that fine-tooth comb to really understand that comparison that's given to us.
Well, we lived this Deuteronomy 28:68. We were taken into slavery and we served them, and we have had to bow down ourselves to them, and that time is over. praise Yahweh, their time is rulership is over.
And I find it very
That's
interesting.
glorious.
Well, I want to circle back a little bit because I really appreciate our sister Jochebed lifting up the Victory Gardens, and I want to just give a comparison because another way that was deployed, which was a means to providing food and sustenance to people during the most harsh conditions, was deployed in the Underground Railroad. They had a system of freedom gardens, which many communities to this day, Black communities, have freedom gardens. They have community lots. People, you may remember aunts and uncles who had gardens in their front yard, their backyards. Those were all remnants of an economic system.
Well, how we survived the so-called Great Depression is we were able to feed ourselves because we grew most of our foods, and the ones we didn't grow, we kind of did without. The stuff we didn't grow, or we bartered with our neighbors and our family and our people to make sure that everybody had enough. And that's just it's like for logical people, it's a no-brainer. We don't have to think about that. We don't have to panic. If you're able to grow your own food, and you can grow food in buckets, so there's no excuses. Right now, there's all kinds of basic technology like vertical gardens that is nothing but pouring water in the top and let it trickle down. That's technology, ain't it? Let gravity work. Exactly. And grow a lot of green.
Yahweh's divine technology.
But it's nothing that we need electricity for. It's nothing that we need, transistors and silicone chips from Taiwan. We don't need any. We don't need oil and oil production and plastics and stuff. We can do all of these things because we've done it in the past with none of those things and survived. In the 20s, there was none of that. And we survived. We're still here. Can't say we didn't survive. We thrive. We still here. Millions of us are still in this country. So we didn't die out in the Great Depression. So we won't die out
during this depression
unless we be wicked and join on to the enemy of Yahweh. Because Yahweh is destroying that group of people. Praise Yahweh.
And the thing that we have to do in what Yahweh being Yahweh revealed in last week's message was all we have to do is obey and do the will of Yahweh. This is what was raised out in the Deuteronomy chapter 28 about being obedient. That is what gives us the blessings. Then we'll reap the harvest from our growing. We'll reap that harvest. And then our reality is we are so innovative, family. We are so divinely creative that Yahweh has given us the ability to make these systems grow tenfold when we're in alignment with his will, when we obey the laws of Yahweh. So imagine if we are in that flow and we're growing the amount of production that's coming out of Judah. And see, this is the formula, family. This is the formula that Yahweh has given us to help us see the destruction right before our own eyes. When we remove ourselves from our economic slavery, we are connected to through our lifeline, every part of our lifestyles. We're dependent on the enemy of Yahweh. So when we're able to sustain ourselves outside of that, then we see the enemy take his great fall. And it's happening right now.
Praise Yahweh. It's the situation at hand is obvious. It's obvious now that all that our Father prepared us for over the last 40 years is now it's time to deploy and to work together to achieve all those things that we've been studying for years. And it's simple. First of all, petty differences is petty differences, is insignificant. If I have two potatoes and you need one, I give you one, we both have a potato. That's simple. And you reciprocate. The same thing. It doesn't matter how we feel about law 602. It doesn't matter how we feel about law 438. It doesn't matter. You eat, I eat, we survive. And we continue that process until things, well, I mean, Yahweh has supreme technology. You know, Yahweh talked about the New Jerusalem, the city that Yahweh prepared for us. He talked about how the systems of the planet were before the devil was cast out, and he told us how the systems of that planet will be after the devil is destroyed. So all we have to do is endure to the end. If I had to eat potato every day for the next 5 years to survive, then I look like a potato because I'll be eating it. I won't be eating the pig. I won't be eating the crawfish.
Well,
I eat that potato.
I find it interesting that you brought it.
Hopefully, it's a sweet potato. Anyway,
brought it back to the sustaining yourselves, and I thank Yahweh for His wisdom of understanding that all these things can be strategized if we are obedient to the laws of Yahweh. He gives us systems of economic sovereignty. They're built into the laws of Yahweh. He gives us systems of righteous trade and exchange. They're built into the laws of Yahweh. So when you do a deeper study and look at the ways we're supposed to interact with each other, we see that righteous behavior, that social construct that we need to live outside of this wickedness that we see all around us. So I thank Yahweh ben Yahweh for His divine wisdom. And another thing I just wanted to share is that the spirit of cooperation is a true force against the economic depression that we see.
Well, let me break that down slightly, scripturally, spiritually. You know, in Ezekiel, when he went to the valley of dry bones, and Yahweh, asked him, can these bones live? And Yahweh ben Yahweh said, only you know whether these bones can live. These dry bones, they were dry. It was totally dry. Well, Yahweh came and raised those dry bones up, but all the dry bones are not hydrated. There's still among us that are still dry. And some of us have gotten hydrated to a degree and stopped. But Yahweh commanded us scripturally that we're supposed to study when we wake up, when we go to sleep, when we walk through our day, when we lie down, when we rise. We supposed to continue. We don't never supposed to stop researching. We don't supposed to stop expanding. Yahweh ben Yahweh, that's what he said out of his mouth, expand me by going deep. He said he didn't have time to go through all of these words, but that's the work that we have to do. Just as he demonstrated with the word hornet in the allegory of what hornets actually represent in the divine judgment. Now, we do that same research. He had us doing research all the time and presentations of our research. It's the same thing. If you get research to a point and then stop when there's a whole lot more to unfold, then you limiting yourself to a partially hydrated dry bone. See, you want to be fully hydrated because when you get fully hydrated, the bones come together.
Praise Yahweh.
And form the body. I'm just saying. Thank
you for saying.
If you a dry bone, you want to stay disconnected because you're dry. If you're a fully hydrated bone, you have no option, no alternative but to come together and form the body. Period. What you gonna do? Be a toe hopping around by yourself? Where's the foot? Exactly. You're gonna find the foot and join on to the foot that's connected to the ankle, and the ankle is connected to and the ankle bone connected. Yeah, you know where it goes.
Praise Yahweh. Well, I'm excited about becoming a fully hydrated bone.
I don't want to be dry no more.
And I thank Yahweh being Yahweh because he gives us this energy in Acts chapter 2, verse 44 through 47, which reads, "And all that believed were together and had all things in common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need. And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising Yahweh and having favor with all the people. And Yahweh added to the church daily such as should be saved." So that spirit is the embodiment of our motto: one God, one mind, one love, and one action.
Well said. And that is the final thought for this episode of Unfolding Light. That brings us to the end of this episode. Unfolding Light. Please join us next week for another episode of the Unfolding Light. And now, if everybody will stand and face the east with outstretched hand, as we close out this episode with a prayer, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabashamayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yadze Rezonka, Kim Bashamayim Kain Ba'aretz, and Lekam Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining the Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyahweh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com and unfoldinglight.com. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first and don't touch it, as instructed by the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually according to Malachi chapter 3. Praise Yahweh and Shalom.
Yahweh, 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 Yahweh.